Me too. I got 1 foot tapping and nothing to lose. I don't wanna be found. Mm. Oh, Black Creek, take me to that place. Wash my sins away. Y'all didn't know that is Brent Cobb. Hell of a song, Black Creek. So, howdy do. Welcome to the Freedom Forum, y'all. And as always, I am your host, Yo Guardsman. There are only 2 rules and 2 rules only. No bullying. And no porn. Y'all know the deal. Have yourselves a good old wheel. Have fun, relax, kick back, crack a beer, have a cigarette, smoke a token, relax. Because today is Thorsday. And we must all remember that little semblance of peace in our lives makes it worth living. That's why I do the Freedom Forum. If you want to cut up, have a freaking complete just conniption, by all means, have a conniption. If you want to have, just party hardy, have a drink, talk shit, by all means. That's what you do. This is the Freedom Forum. You are free to be you. That's why we do it. Oh, Black Creek, take me to that place. Wash my sins away. That Freedom Forum where I've been all day. Yes, wash my sins away. Hey there, FSP. How you doing, brother? Father, son, prepper. Cat. Thursday. Behold, I call upon the power of the mighty Thor. By the hammer fall. Yes, sir. We're having a good old time. So I tell you what, I need to go and actually grab me a bear. I'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowheres. Make sure you hit that like and whatnot, and tell me something. Y'all know anybody you can share this out to? Go ahead. Even if you're the lurkers in the background, share it out. This is the Freedom Forum. This is a place we get to go and cut up and have fun, just so long as you're not bullying folks and you're not being a troll. This is the only thing. Really is. Just don't be a troll. It's okay if you joke around, you razz somebody, but it's a whole different story if you're a piece of garbage that just wants to go and blow shit up. So at that, I'm going to go grab me a beer. Y'all chill right here. I'll be right back. All right. Now I'm back. Sorry for my absence, folks. I do apologize. I was grabbing me a beer and my hairbrush, so I ain't sitting here with a headache afterwards. You'd be surprised at how important a fucking hairbrush is. It'll mess with your mind. Yeah, Cat, but here's the thing, though. I'm a god at it. You're good at it, but I'm a god. I'll troll everybody, son. I am the king of trolls. Welcome to my kingdom. I was joking, but you know what I'm saying. Now I'm hunchbacking it because I'm trying to look at the screen and stay in screen, which is not easy, really. See, here is some contrast. There you go. I can actually see myself now, so I can tell, activities and whatnot happening on screen, even in the dark. Sweet. Blessed Thorsday, KP. By the gods or by thunder. What do we have here? Rudito. Oh, he can straight up full on comment too. Dude, how'd you do that? Oh, hey, what do you know? It's on that one. Okay. Thank you. Happy Thorsday. Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. It's like, yeah, that's Thursday. Thursday's a shit show. Wednesday's a shit show. Tuesday was like, Friday's like, fuck, finally. All right. Well, that's up to you, man. You don't run nobody out of here, Cat. Ain't nobody that comes here is going to be run off by a cat just because they don't get run off. Even the ones that, you're like, well, really, I don't want them here. They still stick around in the background and come by and just say, they're just watching, like, because, that free headspace, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about a firearm. No, that's psychology right there. That free headspace. Living in your head rent free. Now, where in the hell did I drop him? Out of here. Snips. Wow, fuckers are getting dirty. I'm clean it up. I have to go sterilize them again. Oh, he's at an air show, huh, KP? That's cool. Man got himself his air show. For free. Time to juggle. Oh, Ryan. Yeah, I pulled a Buford T. Justice. Wrong way, genius. Yeah, that's why I say you got yourself a free air show, you know? Foisting's foist. I've been putting this off all fucking day. So I've just been working. Firewood. I built myself a freaking paddle. All hand tools. I says, you know what? I need a paddle to stir this chicken feed. So I pulled out my machete, took a peeling off of a trunk, chopped a handle out of it. Then I chopped a blade out of it. And I'll show you that right here. There we go. There's my paddle. I made that all by hand. Just a little one-hander, you know. Don't need much, just enough to get some oomph on it. Good leaf blade. A little bit of a, you know, you can tuck it easier. So you got flat on where you're tucking, and you got pull on it. I like that. It's a nice little twist to the actual wood here. If you look. It's hard to really see, but it's kind of easier if I'm doing it this way. And see where the handle back here on my hand has that kind of angle that just goes that way. And then the, you know, to the flat. So light, good leaf blade. I was surprised how well that came out. It's junky. Can't beat free. Faux free. That the crazy thing is that thing will probably last longer than anything I'd ever buy in the store. Let that blow your mind for a second. That thing will last longer than anything I'll buy in the store. So why am I buying shit from the store again? I just, you know, it's something that's been a wonder on my mind. Poor Gogri. That's a sub-bitch. Of course, I'm going to have to do a similar thing myself in order to get the rest of the pen set up for chickens. Oh, boy, that's strong. That's freaking 20 mule team strong right there. It's got some get some behind it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was just thinking about that recently because there is another snake that's making its way north. Strangely enough, it's like, you know, you ever pay attention to nature? Nature will tell you what goes on, what's going on, in the world around you. Not just talking the climate. I'm talking as far as beyond our planet. If you really get a finger on the pulse of nature itself, it will tell you what's going on, not just on our planet, but with our solar system and further through the cosmos. It's a real trip. And, animals are almost affected instantly. It's strange. And it's almost instantly. It's like you'll see it over several generations, over several, uh, tens and, even up to the hundreds of years. But you'll see that, certain species of animals change location around the globe. Not just due to human influence either. I'm talking about natural occurring animals start to migrate that would not normally be migrating. I've seen some off the wall shit. Like, these are not native creatures to this area. They're not endemic to this area. What the hell are they doing here? And they are literally moving around because they're either being pushed out or they're being. And it's not just human factors. I want to point out to folks, the human factor when it comes down to animal habitation is small, as if to be non-existent. We do not bother them. Y'all, we don't freaking bother animals. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's a fucking human. As long as it ain't pointing a gun at me, I'm good. They're not stupid. At the same time, they realize that we are just still that level higher. Animals are not stupid. They're actually individually very intelligent. More intelligent than we are individually. So, individual cunning, individual intelligence, done on survival level. An animal has a higher ability, and they will start to move around and do things that we won't be really all thinking about unless you're really paying attention. I've been noticing that with animals. It's like they've been just like, I'm not talking about our pets. I'm talking about wild animals, where they're showing up, how they're showing up, and how far they've gone in certain directions and stuff. Like, I saw gators down in freaking the Colorado River, and that's interesting because there's beavers in the Colorado River, which shouldn't be possible if there's gators. They kind of cancel each other out. So it had me wondering, just because of the way the gators eat, But then I also realized that there's a lot of big fish in the Colorado River. And them gators out there on the Colorado are not big. The ones that I've seen are not big. At least they weren't yet when I was down there. But the fish population was declining. It's kind of strange. No, I'm talking about just north of Lake Martinez. I mean, just north, maybe right between Goose Flats and Lake Martinez, right before it widens out, you know? Good to see Kentucky. Kentucky survival in the house. Now I'm sitting back having me a beer, having me a couple of cigarettes, having me a toke and whatnot. Token talk, you know. I opened up the Freedom Forum to anybody who wishes to get up here, but it seems it's just going to be me and chuttering on. But hey, where would you go? Where else would you go for such fine philosophy and dark humor? You're a heathen like me. Filthy axe wielding, sword wielding heathen like me. Hmm. Well, insects are coming out. Or rather coming in. The nighttime settles in, the darkness settles in. It's the end of the day. Everybody's kind of just had another fill of it. My day job is property management. My night job is freaking security. And yes, I earn my keep. But I got to say, I look around at the world around me and I'm like, this is batshit crazy. Why do I got to pay 9 times to get one thing? That don't make no damn sense. Yep, never stop working till the freaking head hits a pillow. I know how it goes. Don't stop dragging your knuckles till you hit the mattress. God damn, that's just you talk about stereotype. Don't stop dragging your knuckles till you hit the mattress. Like, yes, sir. That's about right. I like that. Forging thought just comes in with, Shad comes in with it. Hey, fucker, listen up. If we work for a living, why do we kill ourselves working? It's a good idea. It's a good quote, man. But yeah, that other quote is from the same movie, if y'all didn't know. That's a good idea. Yeah, fortune thought, big dick in it. He's like, what's up? How am I doing? Well, I'm feeling fine. How you doing? Cheers, beers, brother. Mike and I says, I'm having me a cigarette. I had me a toke earlier. I'm having me a beer. Kicking back and relaxing. Because this world has gone to shit and I am sitting here just barely hanging on to the back fender. If you don't know, that's a Road Warrior reference. Anybody can give me a quote from the movie. I'd love that. Yeah. Honest living, you know? It's just the reality of life. Are you finished yet? You're going to end up losing it. Get it out of here. Go on. Anyways, Kentucky, I'd say, yeah. We wanted to be honest folk. You're right. That's what everybody wants for. Yeah. Likewise. I sleep with my boots on. Sometimes. I mean, yeah, every now and then I gotta pull them fuckers off, but I'll catch a nap with my boots on, just because I'm telling you, man, shit's that dark right now. You don't know when you're gonna have to fucking charge down and be the big nut, be the big nuts in the room, You have no idea when you're going to have to be. I think I heard it said best by a Canadian, funny enough. Hey, if you got the cock and balls of a bull moose, every now and then you got to take them out and swing them around a while. Man, got a moth named Frank. That's funny. Yeah. Well, we all got to answer for our sins in the end. Doesn't matter which ones. Do you know the answer to the eternal question? That's what I keep on coming back to. Do you know the answer to the eternal question? I do. But I ain't done yet. Dude is terrified of a moth. That's funny. I'm sorry, but dude, that's actually funny. It's all right though, man. Like the critters start getting big, I start going, huh? They don't necessarily have to be huge either. Speaking of moths, here comes the flock. White line sphinx moth. Wow. Big motherfucker. Yeah, down in Louisiana, seen something like that. Like, not big. What the hell, man? Yeah, KP, that sounds pretty serious. That sounds just like, nowadays. Yeah, it's big freaking malls, man. When I was living down in Arizona, or Blythe, really, we used to get this, what they called a Arizona hummingbird hawk moth. This thing is this fucking big. Like, if this fucker landed on your face, it'd be this big around. I'd cover your whole face. He's like, ugh. Dude, I had one actually land on my head. Hummingbird hawk moth, man. That thing, whoa. They're big. The body on that thing is like this big, bigger than my thumb. I could stick my thumb on top of it and thing's ass would come around my thumb. They are huge. That's because of all the eucalyptus down there in Southern California. All right, brother. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Ears open. You know how to do. Northern Cali. Yeah. That hummingbird hawk moth, dude, that thing. Look it up. It's got 2 purple lines down the side of it that are iridescent. And then the rest of it's all white. All right. And then on the wings, it's got 2 iridescent marks on the base wings, on the base of the back wings. And then the front wings are white all the way through. And this thing is literally this fucking big. And I swear to God, I had that motherfucker land right on the top of my head and start. I'm like, fuck is that? Smacked it down into the ground. I'm looking at this thing like, what the fuck? I thought it was this big old freaking, like one of them scorpion hawks or something. And I looked at it closely. It wasn't a scorpion hawk. It was this big old fucking moth. I was like, holy shit. That's a big motherfucker. Yeah. That's a big one. I've seen pictures of them. I think I saw one when I was down in, I was actually driving up through, where was that? Thereabouts. Yeah, I don't even know. I was somewhere in the mountains. It was on the 101. I don't remember. Yeah, and anything that eats on eucalyptus, oak, has lots of freaking, other plants or green leafy plants to eat on, and they get big. And them hawk moths now, and hawk moths actually eat the eucalyptus. They're they're an import from Australia. Strangely enough, somehow they got here, even though the import of eucalyptus trees was illegal. The import of eucalyptus seed was not. So you can start eucalyptus over here. But, for, different types of eucalyptus and gum tree and whatnot from Australia. Because we didn't want to import the moths because of the fact that they could be impact hazards, for like jets and stuff. Well, somehow they got here. And then they started reproducing like crazy because there's eucalyptus everywhere. It's an invasive species. Big old fucking moth. It's about yay long. The ass is about as big around as like maybe a quarter. They're big old some bitch. And they're the big grubs that you hear about in Australia. Eating the eucalyptus trees and eating the whatchamacallits, the gum trees. Because you got two different type of eucalyptus. You've got the more shrubby, bushy growing ones that only get to about like 25, 30 foot tall. And then you got the really freaking tall ones they're all gum tree, but they're eucalyptus tree. And specifically what the koalas actually eat. That's all that they can digest. Well, this moth is the same. It's the only thing that it can actually reproduce with because it's, evolutionary thing. And eucalyptus grow like damn weeds. They will reproduce everywhere once you get them going. Well, that's where I would argue that, there's actually some uses for eucalyptus that a lot of folks don't think about. They make great, and I mean fucking great, axe handles. Eucalyptus, when you make an axe handle out of eucalyptus, you realize that thing's got some get some. You can go through a lot with that versus, other woods. They're not as hard. They're not as, the way that the fibers weave back and forth and bunch together. It can't, like hickory can't handle torsion. So if you hit that blade wrong and it gets a wrong edge, you've actually got to let the handle go with it. Because if you don't, then the axe will actually break the top off. But with eucalyptus, you can actually use the same axe head, like a double-bitted felling axe to shave bits off a tree. So, yeah, they do have a uses, but they're a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's true too. They burn really freaking hot. I'll say that much. Eucalyptus, if you can get it to dry out enough, it burns really hot. It makes a great forge wood. It's not so great for cooking on. It's not so great for a lot of other things, but makes a great forge wood. You got to make sure you cut it down right. You got to go eucalyptus chips versus and it's got to be dry chip, which is a real pain in the ass. It's really tough on your machines. But yeah, dry chip. If you could, there's an idea. If you could chip it wet and then turn around and use it, you oven bake it and dry it so that you can use it as a kind of like a kiln wood or a forge wood as a fuel, kind of like pelletized fuel. That might actually work. So you don't have these big pieces blowing up, but at the same time, you get that same hot fire. Because I've used, I've used eucalyptus before as a forge wood, and it gets really hot. You can weld with eucalyptus. And when I say weld, I mean forge weld with ease with eucalyptus. It's kind of like using propane. It gets so hot. So you just got to get it going at that point, because it's the gum in it that really gets to burning, gets you kind of more the sooty side of the heat. But if you can get it dried down to where it's more just stupid dry, you can actually get really good hot coals out of that. Well, yeah, koalas, we can agree on that one. Drop bears is just the only thing they're useful for is keeping people out of your property. Because they'll drop down on them. I start taking them out from the freaking branches and shit. Yes, I make my own charcoal a lot. I just wood chips, burn down wood to make charcoal, and that's what I use as my forge heat. And it gives me a lot more. It gives me more hydrogen at the same time as I'm getting carbon, so it gives a higher heat of flame. If you're also introducing oxygen, you got to introduce a lot of oxygen, but if you can drive your oxygen rate up, it gets really freaking hot. Now, depending on the types of wood you use, that can have an effect on the way that the steel itself takes on carbon. So if you've got something that's a really sappy wood, like pine, and you want to do something like what I do, which is carbon nanotube dendritic conversion, it's not as easy, because you've got more of the sticky, sappy kind of, it's got too much soot to make it actually hot enough to make the dendritic conversion. That's what I'm using right now to do the axe heads, actually. That's why I want the sappy in there to kind of, but when I go to doing the mainstay of actually like doing a hardening point or trying to make a long blade, like a knife, or if I try to make another sword, or I want to make a scythe for cutting grass. So, I'm got a couple of things I got to do. I do need to have my forge going together. Hey there, Dip Man. Dip Man. I'm sorry. I just had to, it's too easy. I'm just razzing you. You know that. Much love to Kentucky Dip Man. everybody, I'm having myself a good old time. Oak does make some really nice hot coals. It's got a tight kind of tight grain, so it makes more chunky coals. But what I've found, trip out on this, Chad, I've found that if you use a combination, you need both a softwood like pine, so that you've got those ridge lines, you can get good airflow, and at the same time you use a hardwood like oak, so that you get that good heat, and then you can actually get a higher temperature than you would normally get with either or. So if you use just enough of each one, you'll actually get it going right. My suggestion, if you're going to do it like I do it, that's why I actually broke these down like such. You take your pine and you break it down into chunks. All right, good sized chunks. And this will give you, that big, chunky kind of deep veins in the charcoal. And then on the flip side of it, use hardwood like, like this, like some maple. And that maple has that tight grain. It's a carbon going to get that heat together. And by doing that, like I said, it drives the heat up further. Was da aufhängen? Brasil. Yeah. You can do a lot. Like I said, the whiter the grain, if you want to go as far as that, you use basic 2x4 lumber that you get from the store, just the scraps that you come off of with, and you can chuck that in with your your hardwoods that you get just going around the yard and picking up. So poplar's great for it. You can use a lot of different types of wood to get your good charcoal base for a forge. Like I said, well, my favorite way is to do that two-sided basis. So you've got the wide grain and the tight grain, and that gives you good airflow, and at the same time gives you the hardwood kind of heat retention. You're going to have to use more of the, pardon me, you have to use more of the hardwood than you do of the softwood. Mark my words, it's a trip how it works. But you have to use more of the hardwood than the softwood when you're forging than you have to do when you're just lighting the fire. It's a real trip. But you do have to have the softwood in there. And the way that it introduces the carbon into steel, especially like 1060, 5110, or 5160, or for that matter, 01 standard tool steel, or HR 01, which I like to use, which is hot roll 01. That tends to get you the right submersion of carbon that you can actually push into the blade once you start getting the forge to really start cooking the metal. And it does take cooking the metal. You have to introduce intrusions into the steel itself. That's yeah, that's good. That's great for getting you good coals. That's excellent. If you're really going to go that way, I mean, I'd pull out pieces and whatnot for use as far as handles and stuff. I mean, I'm doing the same thing with what I got here. You've seen me do it before by taking that piece of hickory and just shaving it down for the inset of the sword handle I was making. If you go back in my other forging videos, now I do forging on live streams. I do the Freedom Forge. So, yeah, and I made myself a sword. I'm going to be doing a couple of axe heads for Mad Shad. I'm going to be doing a knife for Free from Fetter's Grove. I want to put that out there because I do make knives and I do make fucking amazing knives. I want to show them off to the world. I want people to see these things are cool. Like when it comes down to it, the hand forged stuff when you've got enough mind behind it, you got enough both education and experience. You need them both. You can't just have the education and you can't just have the experience because the education gives you the edge. The experience gives you the knowledge. There's two sides to that coin. You got to have both. That ironwood, man, even down there where I used to live at, where it grows naturally, you know how hard that stuff is to get your hands on? It's illegal to cut it in certain places down in Southern California. It's actually illegal to take it until it's dead down and detached completely. You want to talk about really hard to get your fucking hands on ironwood is that. Just because of legalities. It doesn't have to do with, the sourcing of it. The sourcing is pretty fair and easy. You have to get it out of the desert because in order for it to get its proper set age to the mesquite that becomes ironwood, you have to get it from where it's naturally endemic, and when it dies, it turns into that semi-petrified wood. That's ironwood. So, yeah, I was looking into that. I did look into that, and I went and I looked at it. The sourcing of it is the hardest part. They pay big top dollar to be able to source that material because of where it's at and how hard it is to get your hands on. I'm talking the 3Ds sourcing. You got, which is you have to. That's how you have to do it to get proper ironwood. Proper ironwood, you'll get a chunk maybe about this big by the yay long. Unless somebody took a mesquite trunk and they stuck sections of it in the sand and they let it sit there for 50 years in the sand, cooking. That's hard to get your fucking hands on. Trust me. I've been there. I saw the process for doing it. It's a large operation. It's really, really hard to do. People have been doing it for almost 200 years now to make real good ironwood. So Yeah. You might get pieces that are maybe that long maximum because of how hard it is to make. And then there's it comes from the ironwood mesquite tree. If you didn't know, it has to be sourced from a specific tree, and it has to actually be aged in a specific way for it to hold its form the way that ironwood does, that you see in the commercial market. So that stuff that's why it's so expensive. It is incredibly difficult to do that. I looked into that. I was down there in the desert doing that. I was like, yeah, that's really hard to do. It takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of time, and if you're going to do it scrap sourcing, it's even harder because of the laws down there on how you can scrap source. They have some really strict laws on scrap sourcing wood down in the desert. If you think the production laws are hard, the scrap sourcing law is harder, because you can only take something that's about as big around as your wrist, maximum size, and it cannot be straight cut. You have to break it off, or it has to be already pre-existingly broke off for you to pick it up. That is a hell of a freaking thing to have to deal with down there. And it's like, dude, it was previously private property. Now it's freaking BLM property, you know. It slides back and forth between the government and the people, you know. They buy the land back, or the government holds it, you know, in escrow and whatnot. It's back and forth sort of thing. Well, a lot of the time you'll go out there and there'll be logs that somebody set out there almost 75, 80 years ago that are so solid you can't cut them with a bandsaw. They will literally snap teeth off a bandsaw. It takes them diamond bandsaw blades to be able to cut it, and they wear out real fast. But yeah, I was out there on the BLM lands. I saw a chunk of ironwood this big. That big around. Looked like it was a hand cut round. The way that they had specially done them on, you know, for the ironwood farming. And it was sitting the ground just out there in the BLMs doing nothing. And I was looking, I was like, that's incredible. Took it home and I tried to cut it on a bandsaw and snapped every tooth off that bandsaw. And it was still, you know, it felt like wood. It did. It felt like wood, but it was so heavy, so dense and hard. I mean, I'll bet you I could have smacked it against something and shattered it. But the bandsaw that my dad handed me was carbide bit. Every single one of them. That was gone. Shit. Oh well. Yeah, you need the masonry diamond. We got the masonry diamond. We cut out a block. It was about that thick by about yay long. And we cut that block in half, and that masonry diamond band was gone. Toast. Literally had to use it, you know, a couple of different grinding wheels to just grind down this stuff. I mean, it was insane, man. This stuff is amazing wood. That's why it's so freaking expensive, man. It's like you realize how expensive a fucking an ironwood handle blade or true ironwood handle blade it really would go for. We're talking not just the thousands, but the 100,000 millions of dollars for that type of blade because of its different existing aesthetics. And you know, you'd be, if you're using something as rare and as expensive as ironwood, you're doing so with a very different respect to it. Fucking amazing, man. I'll tell you what. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but ironwood, even to the point where it is completely petrified, will still burn. It will still burn. Even as a rock, it will burn. So yeah, don't fool yourself into thinking that it won't catch on fire. It does take a little bit to catch it on fire. Don't get me wrong. It does take a little to catch it on fire, but it will still catch on fire. And yes, it'll burn up regular grinding belts in no time. You're right about that. Like I said, I was using one of those the grinding wheels. I burned through a whole grinding wheel just grinding the handle. Just grinding a handle for a knife. I burnt through a whole one of those full size bench grinding wheels, all the way down to bare nuds. Yeah, that was another side of it. You know, instead of using tobacco inlaying in a with black powder coated tobacco going through the fuse, they would use ironwood black powder, and that ironwood black powder burns really slow, almost as slow as smokeless powder. Funny enough, if you ever watch smokeless powder burn, it burns really slow. It actually burns like it's running a fuse. So yeah, they would put it inside a paper, or they would take it's just that ironwood was really good for that. Another one that was really good for that was willow. Extremely fine crushed and then molded into a round. Extremely fine crushed the carbon down to just absolute mush. They'd mixed up the black powder and whatnot, and then it would be molded, wet molded, mind you. Crazy enough, this does work. Get it wet, and then you would mold it into the fuse, and that fuse would then dry and be able to burn real slow. Now, another way that they did it, like I said, was tobacco. They would literally roll it in a piece of paper or a piece of bark with the tobacco, black powder in there, stuff it into the cannon, and now you've got a poor man's fuse, a war fuse. and it'd be slow enough you'd be able to turn around and get your head down before it went off. And they would also use them as slow fuses for grenades. That's actually pretty smart. That's a slow burner. It's good for thought. Food for thought. You know, of course, I'm MacGyver, you know. Materials you got at hand, right? So if I was making black powder, say, because, you know, got the black powder pistol, I'm going to have to be making my own shot. I'm going to have to be making my own, I'm already making my own caps, you know. I'm going to have to be making my own powder soon. Just because of how difficult it's going to be to get your hands on, procured, and whatnot. I do have a source of sulfur. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily an easy source of sulfur. It's a pain in the ass, really, but there again, there's a substitute for sulfur which they utilize in your black powder substitutes, which is phosphorus. Those of you who know the periodic table and know chemistry know that you can use phosphorus as a substitute for black powder, or as a sulfur substitute in black powder. It burns a little more funky, a lot faster. Has a weird way of going about it. It's just gone. It's like you make pistol powder with something about the same grain size as double F. Yeah, but here's the thing: where are you going to get sulfur when money ain't working no more? This is something I had to think about. Where are you going to get sulfur if you ain't got money? Well, I dig far enough down in the backyard here, and I hit volcanic ash. That's a source of sulfur. This mountain is loaded with sulfur and iron and all sorts of silica. So, you know, I could do freaking uh, reverse history engineered chemistry and basically be able to draw the chemicals off of the soil. Well, not the soil, but, you know, further down that I need to. There you go. Thinking outside the box. You got huge geysers near you. You can go get, your sulfur for there. Now, I would suggest for something as such of a concentration that you wear the appropriate protective gear because, that shit can get really dangerous real fast. Or at least, engage the appropriate protective measures. Safety squints and the, oh, Jesus, twitch. The circle of death has gone. I chased it away. Yeah. Well, here, right down there at the inference of the Cascades and Samadera or the Eureka Mountain. I don't know. Seeing as where, that'd be about where it is. Samadera or Eureka. Yeah, save here. Shit, I ain't even got to go that deep. See, there's a layer across the top that's about this thick. That's all tangible soil under the root line. Then about this far down, it becomes clay. And then about this far down from everything, it becomes right underneath. It becomes that volcanic soil I'm talking about. And it's just pure fucking iron sulfide. I was like, holy shit. See, I got the off-flow from Helens. This area would have been inundated when Helens went off. After the pyroclastic collapse, the whole area would have been inundated. So everybody around here would have been evacuated. Hopefully people would have listened to it because, a volcano is not, it's not something that you can just, oh, well, my preps will save me. No, motherfucker, it won't. You need to get your ass out of the way. You can come back for your preps later. Grab the shit that you need and go. You don't have time. Move. But, everybody else kind of, they had that fun shit. But yeah, we had the here where I'm at right now, we had that that off flow from when St. Helens really blew, because you had the pyroclastic cloud, and then you also had the mud flow off of it. That mud flow off of it took out, a lot of the other side of the mountainside, but the pyroclastic cloud then came back down, and this whole area would have been just covered in just feet of ash. So I have a really nitrogen dense soil, extremely nitrogen dense, high sulfur content, high iron content. And the nitrogen density comes from the fact that, of course, you go back in and, here's 30 years of the forest regrowing and whatnot, 30, 40 years of that. That is a great philosophy. I just want to put that up there. I want to point that out, That is a great fucking philosophy. I never ask that anyone think the same way I think. I only ask that they think, damn, brother, that's the way to drop it on them. Hey, Debs. Fucking A rights, Forging. Fucking A rights. There is no reason to attack or belittle anyone for any reason. That being said, if you try to, you go and attack someone, I'd say that's a reason. But here I am contradictifying myself. I'm half a beer, 3/4 of a beer in. You see my point? Oh no, that's a whole beer. You went to whole beer. Didn't even know it was there. But yeah, that's my point. Like I already have a buzz. I have a fucking hell of a buzz. So I'm having a good one. Don't necessarily get too hung up on what I full on says. And yeah, don't belittle people for just a simple lifestyle. Now, I do have to retract and say as what Holmes said. Don't be playing with people's hearts and their heads. If you live righteous, that's fine. I got no qualms with that. You live righteous, that's fucking awesome. I got no qualms with a woman either that way, mind you. Live righteous. Don't be dastardly. Don't be fucking sitting there and trying to mess with people's heads. What good does come from it? I do care. for what I've seen, the scariest idea a man can have is that people care enough about what he says to hate him for it. Honest. That's the scariest idea a man can have. Why would you give a fuck if people care enough? Because that's how you actually scare yourself. Don't scare yourself. Says what you says. Hey, don't get me wrong, I eat a tater, but at the same time, I know how they're grown, and yes, they are fucking disgusting. A lot of folks don't realize how your taters are grown. There's a reason why I scrub them. Even if I'm making, tater skin, black-eyed mashed taters or whatever. There's a reason why as I wash, scrub the damn taters. If you knew what they was grown in, you'd be like, dude, that's nasty as fuck. You have to have it in order to get taters to grow. Just is what it is. You think I'm lying? They actually have to be grown in shit. They don't do well in just fertilized soil. They'll do all right, but in straight up freaking chemical fertilized soil, then you're not going to get big potatoes. You're going to get taters like this. Little tiny corn pops of taters. You want big taters, you got to put shit in the ground. Actual fecal matter in the dirt. Folks don't realize I've had folks tell me like, oh yeah, I'm growing in freaking I grow mine in freaking coffee, man. It was like, I'm gonna test you a theory. It didn't work, by the by. I actually had to throw fucking shit into the damn thing to actually get anything to kind of pop at all. I was mad. I can understand that too, but I'm just saying, if you knew how potatoes have to be grown in order to get the size that you see in the market, you have to grow them in shit. I don't know why this is such a mind-blowing freaking thing for people, but seriously, you can't just do it in straight soil. You have to grow them in shit. You have to have shit in there. There has to be a fucking turd in the soil. Holy shit. Yes, it's poop root, damn it. That's why I scrub my taters, damn it. I mean, like I said, I'll still eat taters, you know. You got to have something as a filler. When I learned that fact, I swore off taters for a full freaking 4 years, man. I didn't eat taters for shit, for nothing. People looked at me funny. They were like, well, why won't you eat potatoes? I was like, do you know how those are grown? Do you have any idea how those are grown? Freak people out. I was like, then I just kind of, I just went, yeah, fuck it. Because, you know, you after a while, you do need to have that form of starches. It's just, your body actually needs it. You don't realize it until you have it, that your body needs it. It's a trip. I didn't freaking think about it myself. You can only, when your body needs it, you can only take so much. But if your body needs it, you need it. You can't get around it. I've been through that. It struck me as odd. But I understand though. All right. Good on you, brother. Good swatting. Good hunting. Oi choy out your way. So, yeah. I'm just I'm buzzing a good one myself. How you? Oh, I'm starting to get a night chill on. I'll probably grab some wood up for the fireplace again. Go and set up a fire and sit back and do some writing myself. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Mind you, like I said, there is a bit of a chill on in the evening nowadays. My corn is just starting to ear. That's that does bother me. If we get a heavy frost too early, them ears will just die off and the whole damn plant will die off. And I won't get nothing out of it. So I gotta be on point with my corn. Frost point, I believe, is gonna start here in about a month. We get down to 40s. We hit our first down to 40. That's when I got to bring everything inside. Doesn't matter where, got to go inside and stay warm. That's why I built my grow the way I did. Because until I can get that hothouse built up, full on and right tight, I'm not going to be able to keep plants outside. So I gotta do the hustle junk here very soon. That means I'm gonna be having to carry freaking clay pots. Have to be setting up a tarp inside. But when you're growing in places like I grow, which is for my own health, I gotta be in the mountains, which means I can't be down in the freaking valleys and whatnot. It actually makes my allergies worse to be down in the valleys than up in the mountains. My pneumonia gets worse coming up here, but down in the mountains, down out of the mountains, down the valleys, my allergies just get out of hand. And so I have to, I kind of temper it, back and forth. But I'm far better off in the mountains than in the valleys. And if I can grow, then I'm all the better. So I figure, up in the mountains, if I can learn how to grow, I might be able to make this work. And I figured, I've done the jungle hustle before for other plants, I can do it for corn. I can do it for taters. I can do it for, um, things that need growing through the winter. So that's why I'm using these plastic grocery bags like you get in the stores. The heavy duty ones, not the light grocery bags, but the heavy, thick. They're built to, you could take them back to the store if you wanted to reuse them. Well, same concept, but these are the plastic bags. These are they're heavy duty. You can reuse them. I mean, you reuse them for potted plants, and they work. So I can do the jungle hustle if necessary to protect my plants, but we're not getting down there to that temperature yet. So I got a couple more weeks, maybe. I'm hoping. That way I can get at least a couple of ears of corn so I can I can repro for doing a set of rows out in the back next year. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm also going to do it the bagged style, because like I said, up here without the hothouse, there's no way I'm going to be able to grow corn. There's just no way. But you got to have something for a bread. And I like cornbread myself. I'm going to set up a cornbread cook. I'm going to set up oh no, yeah, I might get some sugar beet next year. Try a sugar beet set. But limited amount of space I got. Of course, I'll be best off growing in, like I said, the bag pots. So we're gonna run it. See what I can get out of it. Do some cottage industry farming, if you know what I'm saying. I've got my head set for it. Anyways, those are plans for the future here at the old, for where I'm setting myself. And, the forge will be kicked up here soon. I'm going to be starting forging. I'm going to be continuing the forging till I get things done. And all that. I got more writing to do, of course, in my books. And well, I just got a full new clutch of eggs, so I got to do a rundown on those. I got to do a float test on the rest of the eggs, figure out what's what, and got to figure out which eggs are going to be viable. Those are the hard ones to figure out, because you got to sit there with a flashlight and well, I've been using this a lot more for shooting rats and whatnot than I've been doing for eggs, and so what. And so I was like, I got a lot of work to do. But y'all, it's been grand. We've been at this for about an hour 45. Here, I'm gonna probably be cutting it off because, life continues apace. And I hope that in this Freedom Forum you got something out of it. able to gain some actual knowledge, got some enjoyment in your life. And for the rest of it all, y'all, I'm your guardsman all, and that's Houdini. Y'all motherfuckers. I'm out.